is Dr. David Allen. I hope you've listened as Keva Bethell, a distinguished researcher, and my colleague who has, I think, paved new territory in our country, because to get this data was not easy. In fact, Keva, what was it like trying to get this data?
It was interesting. We have the quality control section of the Central Detective Unit keeps very good files, which they gave me access to, and I'm really grateful.
Who was head then when you went there?
Sergeant Sabrina Porter. So.
Sabrina Porter, and she was very helpful.
Yes, she was.
And
Superintendent Paul Rowe.
Superintendent Paul Rowe.
Yes.
They were both very supportive, and
and I'm very appreciative of that. And then in terms of the surveys, my Anglican priests on the islands, they did a tremendous job in getting the surveys out, getting them turned in, and I'm very grateful for the level of cooperation that I had. So.
And that's important to stress, because we always put ourselves down that we don't cooperate. That's not true. In our work on the family, we have people who come to help us, who volunteer, who train to be facilitators on a Saturday morning. These are business people, people who have so much going on in their life. Our people are really trying to come together to help. And that's my hope, that there's going to be a groundswell of people realizing that we have to save our country. People helping people. Keva, as we come to the end, what sort of things you would like to stress?
Suicide, people tend to isolate. It's driven by shame, loneliness, and depression. If you go to slide 7, you'll see John Cox's depiction of eye against eye, which is really what kind of drives suicide is you beating yourself up. I know your shame theory says self-hatred aimed at me, and that's exactly what he depicted in his painting. So that's...
And that's important, because, John Cox painted this long before I wrote a book on shame. And it's the same person. It's eye against eye.
Yeah.
And then at New Providence Community Center Church, a few weeks ago, a dear young man spoke on how eyes get me. How eyes get me. The idea is Bahamians are now realizing that other people don't just get you.
Yeah.
We get ourselves.
Selves, right.
And that's shame. Shame is self-hatred.
Aimed at me.
Aimed at me. And I just came back from a retreat, speaking in Pennsylvania this weekend, and met a very distinguished Chinese researcher. And she was sharing how in China, shame is so powerful. Yeah. And she read the book, and she's now interpreting our shame book into Chinese.
Congratulations.
Other?
It's suicide. It's a social scourge, and it's often left shrouded in secrecy, because we don't like to speak about it. We just want to say, oh well, we're a Christian nation. We don't do that because the spiritual connotation is that you would go straight to hell. But just because people presume that we don't do it doesn't mean that it's not happening. So we need to now have a conversation about preventative methods, because we don't want in another 50 years somebody's doing the same study and finding the same results, like how we are finding the same things that Spencer did 50 years ago. We need to have a serious conversation as a country of what we want our legacy to be for our future generations.
Okay, but let me ask you, I know it's a big issue, because our family groups, people say, Dr. Allen, I would kill myself, but I'm scared to go to hell. Right. So some pastors, like I think Pastor Barrington Brennan was saying, that we have to be more compassionate, because people who hurt themselves are going through a very difficult time. What do you think about that? Being more compassionate to those
Bahamians don't know how to speak to each other. I implore...
Bahamians what?
We don't know what to say. I implore my fellow Bahamians, be careful of how you speak to people. You don't know what they're going through already, and what you say can make the world of difference in their situation.
Can you explain why you said that?
Bahamians don't know what to say, and what you say, you could the same. I think as Dr. Bethell van der Kolk, the same energy you take to tear someone down is the same energy spent that you can build them up. So you, in that moment when people always say think before you speak, and it's literally we're saying think before you speak. do I want to build up or do I want to tear down? If you're going to tear down, just don't say anything.
Well, Keva, let me ask you the question. When I was at Harvard, there was a young man. He was Roman Catholic, and he said the only thing that stopped him from killing himself was because he was a Catholic, and
Right.
his priest told him if he killed himself,
Going to hell.
he'd go to hell.
Okay.
Well, another priest who I know said, no, post-Vatican II, it doesn't mean you go to hell. So he killed himself.
Oh, okay.
So we're finding the same dilemma in the Bahamas. The people in our family are saying, the only reason I don't kill myself is I don't want to go to hell.
Okay.
Now, as a believer and a very devout Christian, how should we deal with this? Like those who've suffered suicide in their families.
Right.
Like these recent families, these 4 families this year.
Right.
I mean, the pain, to go and say the person's going to hell. First of all, we're not God. So how do we bring healing to those families?
Wow, that's a heavy question. I don't know where to go with that. Boy, I don't think we should make apology or amendments for the gospel. I think you have to present it as it was presented to us, like as it appears in the Bible. So I don't know. I don't know. Like you can't really water down what's in. You know what I mean? To say to appease society and okay, this is what society may need right now. No, you have to present it as it is. So I don't know.
Because as believers, we have to always be compassionate.
Yes,
And
yes.
when, studies show that it takes 100 years for a suicide
To
to
heal.
work itself out in the family. Let me repeat that. Certain studies have shown, how true they are, we don't know. One has to always question studies. But one I knew very well showed that it takes 100 years for a suicide to work itself out of the family. So if you kill yourself, some of your buddy in your family is going to kill themselves, and maybe one of their children are going to kill themselves, one of their children kill themselves. It's like a string that goes through. Now, some would say that's a generational curse. We have that in our family group, too, but we're exploring that. I don't believe in the generational curse. I believe in the repetition compulsion, that there's imitative behavior. But the point I want to make is, as a Christian nation, life is hard for some of us.
Right.
Some people can't make it. I know. I just got off the plane. The minute I hit the airport, a call was saying, Dr. Allen, we had somebody shot. I didn't even know about the incident. And say, we got it. What can you do to help? I said, I was just getting off the plane. Give me a couple of hours. So people are recognizing the pain that our nation is facing. As believers, I believe we have to be compassionate. And if you've a family that suffered suicide, or a mother who's lost a child to suicide, or a father's lost to suicide, I want to let you know that we have our deepest compassion and sympathy for you. And the way I deal with it is to say that I am not God, and that's not my role. But God, who is fair, will be there for all people, regardless what happens. And I'm going to leave that there, and that means a lot. Because in the work I do, where life is very scary, dangerous, I've been held up many times myself and had to face my death. I believe that God's grace is there for me and for us. And so in times of darkness and difficulty, we have to trust ourselves, as my mother would say, in the everlasting arms of the Lord Jesus Christ. And he loved us so much, he gave his only son to die for us. Keva, as we come to the end, what would you like to say to your Bahamian people as a researcher who's been looking at these very painful issues?
If you're out there and you're thinking about suicide, or you're thinking, I can't, those triggers, I can't take it anymore, this is just too much, we have about 23 or 24 support groups available. They're all free of charge. You could just come and be a part of a group, sit and talk and share, or even if you just sit and listen, you realize that your problems aren't unique to you. They may seem so in your isolation, like they're bigger than you and all this, it's like a mountain. But if you come and sit in a group of at least maybe 20 people or whatnot, you realize that, oh, okay, she's going through that as well, or he's going through that. And this is, it's kind of common, and come together and try and figure a way out of it. So we invite you. Our office number is 698-0155. You can call and find out if there's a group in your area. We invite you to come and be a part of our support network.
And that's important because in our data, we have people who came to the family suicidal.
Yes.
And after being there, a number of them have turned their life around.
Yes.
And became people who were homicidal, and they turned their life around. So the point we're saying is, we're not just giving bad news, we're giving hope.
Yeah.
The family, people helping people, come and join us. 698-0155. I'll be in Camp Road tonight. We'll be in East Street on Wednesday. We'll be in the prison on Wednesday. We're at NPCC 2-3 times a week. You can find us. Call my cell if you want to. 557-3172. You don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to kill anybody. Call somebody. Because jaw stops war. If you talk, good things happen. We have the data to prove it. We're a small country. We can get on top of these things. I'm not hopeless. I'm very hopeful. But you know why? We believe in God. And if he's for us, who could be against us? Keva, I want to thank you for the excellent work you do, your faithfulness and your commitment. And you know, there's no way in this world I could have come to do any of the work we've done in the past 10 years without the support and faithfulness and what her stickability of Keva Bethell. Thank you so much, Keva.
You're welcome.
And good night.